My name is Melissa, and today we are going to be talking about rain and the rain cycle. And you're probably thinking, what are we doing for today's activity? Well, for today, we are going to complete a worksheet and make our own rain cloud in a jar. So, are you ready to make it rain? Okay, let's begin. We've all experienced rain before. Maybe you've been soaked by the rain because you forgot your umbrella or raincoat. Or maybe you genuinely enjoy playing outside in the rain. Or if you're like me, you enjoy rain from the comfort of your home. Everyone sees rain as water that falls from the sky. Some even say that when it rains, the earth is crying or peeing. But have you ever stopped to wonder, where does this rain come from? Rain is liquid water that have condensed together to form clouds. When these droplets of water accumulate, the cloud gets heavier and heavier, and eventually these water droplets will fall to the ground because of gravity. Rain is a major component in the water cycle, and it's responsible for giving the earth most of its fresh water. Rain allows for sustainable ecosystems and hydroelectric plants to thrive, as well as supply water to land and crops for growth. Now let's talk about the water cycle. The water cycle is a cycle which describes the endless movement of water on Earth. The water on Earth moves between bodies of water such as oceans, lakes, and rivers, the atmosphere, and land. And this water can be in the form of a liquid or a solid and sometimes even a gas. There are 4 important phases in the water cycle. The first phase is evaporation. This is the beginning of our cycle. The sun heats up the surface of the earth. And when it does that, it also heats up the bodies of water on Earth. When the water heats up, some of the water evaporates into the air, turning into vapor. The second phase of the water cycle is condensation. As the water evaporates into the sky, its temperature decreases. These droplets of water condense together to form clouds once they reach dew point. Dew point is the temperature at which clouds can form, and it's dependent on moisture and humidity. Precipitation is our next phase. During precipitation, so much water has accumulated and the clouds are getting heavier and heavier. Due to gravity, these water droplets fall back to the ground. When we see rain fall from the sky, the precipitation phase is happening. And the last phase is collection. The precipitation that has fallen from the sky gets collected in rivers, oceans, and lakes, and eventually it will evaporate back into the air, beginning the cycle all over again. Precipitation doesn't just fall into bodies of water, it can also fall onto plants and vegetation. In this case, the precipitation that has fallen onto the leaves will be evaporated back into the air. Or if precipitation falls onto the ground, the roots of the plants will uptake that water. Precipitation is one of the 4 phases in the water cycle. Recall that in this phase, water droplets fall from the clouds due to gravity, which is exactly what precipitation is. Precipitation is any product that was condensed by atmospheric water vapor and fell from the clouds due to gravity. Examples of precipitation include snow, rain, and hail. The precipitation we see fall from the sky is classified based on their behavior during their journey from the sky to the ground. When rain falls from the clouds, the temperature isn't cold enough for it to turn into a solid. That's why when it hits the ground, it's still in the form of a liquid. Hail forms when very cold water droplets freeze as soon as it touches dust or dirt. In this case, it doesn't matter the temperature of the ground. As soon as it hits the ground, it automatically becomes a solid. Snow forms similarly to hail. However, due to the temperature and the humidity of the air, snowflakes develop a pattern in their structures that is not seen in hail. Snow requires the ground to be less than 0 degrees Celsius or else it will melt upon contact. Remember, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. I mentioned earlier in the video that rain is responsible for producing the Earth's supply of fresh water. This is true. However, not all precipitation from the clouds are fresh. Sometimes precipitation from the clouds contain acidic components, such as sulfuric acid or nitric acid. This acidic precipitation is known as acid rain, and this happens because of atmospheric pollution. The main cause of atmospheric pollution is caused by the industrial burning of fossil fuels. Acidic rain can cause environmental harms to forests and lakes. Acidic rain cannot directly harm humans, but its acidic components can cause harm to human health. Okay, now that we've talked about rain and the water cycle, complete the worksheet provided. Now for our hands-on activity. Today, we are going to be creating our own cloud in a jar. For this activity, you will need a clear glass jar or a clear glass cup, shaving cream, blue food coloring, water, and a dropper. You'll also need a bowl for mixing. In a separate bowl, we're going to mix together 2 teaspoons of blue food coloring and 1 tablespoon of water. Next, we are going to take the clear jar or the clear cup and fill it with water almost to the top and add shaving cream to create a fluffy cloud. Wait 2 to 3 minutes for your shaving cream to settle, and then take your dropper and suck up some of the blue food coloring and water mixture and drop it onto the shaving cream. Do this about 6 or 7 times. Now wait and observe. After a while, the blue food coloring should fall out of the shaving cream and into the water. You're probably wondering, how does this relate to anything I talked about today? Well, we just created a simplified model of a rain cloud. The shaving cream represents the cloud composed of water droplets, and the blue food coloring and water mixture represents raindrops. Remember, as the water accumulates, the cloud gets heavier and heavier, and eventually releases precipitation in the form of liquid water, aka rain. When we kept adding the mixture of blue food coloring and water to the shaving cream, it accumulated, and it made the shaving cream heavy enough to release it, just like rain in a rain cloud. Sorry to rain on your parade, folks, but this is the end of today's lesson. I hope you had a great time and that you found rain and the water cycle fascinating. Stay curious, be kind to one another, and I'll see you soon. Bye everyone!